even though he hasn't, the first time he's trying to fuck around, you should have allowed him to find out. When people decide to fuck around, let them find out that you're not the type to be fucked with like that. And one thing I'm going to tell women is that, see, if there is anything you don't want to ever do the second time, don't do it the first time. This was a test of how much he can break and bend her, and she failed the test. Hey pod fam, welcome to another episode. On this podcast, we have important conversations that drive self-development and also drive good conversation. And we also tell stories of subscribers and followers that need our advice and opinion on a certain topic or a certain issue, like the one we're having today. So without further ado, let's continue today's story. On my wedding night, my husband told me to make ofada stew and rice for him. There was no sex, no affection, or any form of honeymoon. And all he did was ask me to cook. I am shocked, surprised, and disappointed at myself. On our wedding night, I was so tired. When we left the reception, I thought we would go straight to the hotel, rest, sleep, and enjoy the moment like regular couples do. But my husband said he doesn't want to go to the hotel. He insisted we go to our house. We've been living together for over 4 months before the white wedding. I was surprised, but I said okay. I didn't want to argue on the first night as husband and wife. When we got home, I was still on my makeup and my white dress when he said he was hungry and I should go into the kitchen to make rice and ofada stew for him. Not a regular stew, ofada stew that needs you to bleach palm oil and do so many work. I laughed when he said this because I thought he was joking, but no, he was very serious. I told him there was ofada at our wedding, and if he really wants it, I could ask my sister to bring him some. He said no, that he wants me to be the one to cook it. He said if I don't cook it, he would cook rice and regular stew himself. Then he stood up and he started walking to the kitchen area. Something about the way he said it made me feel like he was serious. He then said, am I not his wife? Why am I not answering him? Wait, let's go back. Something about the way he said it made me feel like he was serious. Okay, and then you're acting as if he said, oh, if you don't do this, I'm going to jump into the river and I'm going to unalive myself. And you're like, oh my God, please don't unalive yourself. He said he was going to the kitchen to cook if you don't want to cook. Why were you fidgeting? He's the one that's hungry on a wedding night. He's the one that's refusing for you to get ofada from your sister. So if he's insisting, then he can go ahead and cook the food himself. Is it a crime? Is he going to die in the kitchen if he does that? Is the stove going to choke him to death? Let's continue. I stood up and I entered the kitchen. I stood there bleaching palm oil, smoke everywhere, smoke inside my eyes. My tears were dropping into the sink. I kept telling myself this is marriage. I was exhausted. My feet were hurting. I heard him laughing and talking to people on the phone while I was cooking and crying. This part is just making me so sad. Like, I really am tearing up right now. I know you're thinking it's not so serious, but do you know what it means for you to just be married that same day? Your husband is already putting you through hell intentionally just to see you suffer. Do you know how stressful a wedding is, especially on the bride? She has to wear heels for long hours. She has been dancing, attending to people. She must be exhausted. In fact, a lot of couples are so exhausted on their first night that they don't even have sex. I don't want to be using vulgar words on here, so they don't, what's the word? They don't penalize me. They really don't even do the do. Let's be using the word do on this channel, okay? They really don't even do the do on the night of their wedding because of how tired, excruciatingly tired it gets. And then he decided, they had a hotel. He said, no, they should go to their house just because he wanted to pull her through this nonsense. And one thing I'm going to tell women is that, see, one thing you're not going to do, one thing you should not be doing is something that you know that you're not going to want to do the second time. If there is anything You don't want to ever do the second time. Don't do it the first time. This was a test of how much he can break and bend her, and she failed the test. That is the first mistake that she made. She should have allowed him cook. She should have at least said no, she wasn't going to do that. She's exhausted. Cry. Whatever it is that you're going to do. The last thing you should have done was enter that kitchen and cook that ofada stew that night. But this is not to blame you. Okay, let's continue. My heart was beating so fast. I cooked everything. By the time I finished and served him, he was sleeping. I woke him up. He opened his eyes and said he is not hungry anymore. I stood there holding the spoon and plate. That was the first night of my marriage. I just sat down and I cried so hard. Is this normal? This is not his normal behavior. The next morning, he didn't say anything. He went straight to saying, let's plan for our honeymoon. Should I tell my family what he did? I haven't told anyone. What do you think I should do? First of all, like I earlier said, I feel so sorry for the marriage that you've entered. Like people say, you would see signs, but when wonder starts, it would never end. You mentioned that this is not his normal behavior. I call that bullshit. Okay? Not to call you a liar, but I call that bullshit because I think you just excused a lot of things. See, there are some things that lead to some things. There are some behaviors that you know that with what this person is doing, this person has the tendency to do more and to cause more harm. Okay? Somebody like this, he has already shown you a part of this. And even though he hasn't, the first time he's trying to fuck around, you should have allowed him to find out. When people decide to fuck around, let them find out that you're not the type to be fucked with like that. So that's the first mistake that you made. Allowing him to think that he can fuck around and get away with it. You should have let him find out what would have happened. So that's one of the things that you shouldn't have done. It's never too late to let him know that if you fuck around again, he's gonna find out. I'm trying to be careful with my words because when it comes to advising people that are married, I usually don't. I can never see. We both know what you should do. You know what you should do. We all of us listening to this podcast right now, we know what she should do, but you're not gonna hear it from me. Oh, hell the fuck no. I'm not gonna be the one to be tagged as, oh, she's breaking people's marriage. Da, da, da. No, I'm not. But you know what you should do, but nobody's gonna say it, especially not me. The only thing I'm going to tell you is, in all the things that you just said, you actually forgot that you're a human being with autonomy over your life. I know you're married and there's the whole, oh, the husband is head of the house, but that doesn't mean that you're the slave. Do you clock that? It doesn't mean you're the slave. It doesn't mean you stop being a human being. It doesn't mean you stop feeling pain. It doesn't mean you should be treated like an animal. That's not what it means. Okay? So don't forget that you're a human being. You said you've not told your family and your loved ones. I don't know the kind of family you came from, but I know my family. Oh my God. I know my family. And I know what will happen if I tell them that happened. In fact, one of them might actually beat me up for actually cooking the food first before telling them what's going on. But I digress. I don't know the kind of family you came from, okay? But regardless of even if it's a shitty family you came from, you are an adult. You're a human being. You deserve to be treated like one. I wanted to say you don't deserve to be treated like an animal, but even animals deserve love and kindness. Okay? On your wedding night, with that tiredness, in fact, I put it to you that even the people that attended your wedding, okay, I mean the active people that attended your wedding are not going to cook that night. The people that attended your wedding, they won't cook that night. They will either eat the remains of your food or they would go and get something to eat on their way home. Or maybe they have people that are home that already cooked for them. They're not going to cook that night because of how tired they would be. I remember my sister's wedding. Hell the fuck no. I'm trying not to use vocal words, but Hell no, we didn't cook. I didn't cook. Nobody cooked that night. We were all exhausted and slept off, just in about the day and all of that. We slept off. In fact, we were so exhausted that people even stole from us. We didn't know because we were just tired. We just wanted to rest. So I honestly feel so bad and so sorry that you had to go through that, baby girl. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. My heart bleeds for you and goes out to you because wonders really don't end. They don't. And don't forget that you should love yourself, value yourself, define how people treat you, no matter who they are. Define how your parents will treat you. Define how your brothers will treat you. Define how your neighbors, your friends will treat you. Define how your spouse will treat you. Define how you allow people to treat you. Nobody, especially not your partner for life, should treat you like this. And also to the man, why? Why would you just decide to be wicked to your partner? I don't get it. Like, don't people want to be happy and just live a good life and just be married and just be happy? People don't like happiness. You don't like peace. I don't get it. I never understand it. I never understand the wickedness coming from the person that's supposed to be the head of the family. I don't get it. I don't. Why you don't want peace? And they're the ones that say, well, they want peace. You really don't. You really don't. So yeah, over to you guys. What do you guys think about this story? What advice do you have for this person? What do you have? What advice do you have for this person? Okay, what do you think she should do? If you're the type that will boldly want to tell her what to do exactly, do this and do this, tell her what to do. Okay. Thanks for joining today's episode. I'll see you in the next video. If I introduced myself, but yeah, I think I already did that. Share this video to your friends, comment, like. Very important to like this video. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching. I love you guys. Bye.